What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning David Benavidez. The Mexican man said this about Canelo Alvarez. He said, Saul Canelo Alvarez, of course, asked for $150 to $200 million to fight David Benavidez, has triggered a rich response from the younger, unbeaten fighter. And this is what he said. He said, hopefully after you make that 150 mil, you have enough left over to buy a pair of nuts. Outpricing yourself means I'm afraid to lose. That's what De La Hoya said. And let me counterpunch. Snappy comeback. A lot of people do look at Canelo Alvarez ducking David Benavidez. And it really is sad, though, because Canelo is the top guy, and he let ego overcome the love that he should have for the legacy of his career. He let his own ego disrupt that a lot, just like other people have done. Okay, I'm not even saying any names anymore. We already know who that is. But we're talking about Canelo now. Now, Canelo is a guy that it doesn't make any sense for him to fight who he's fighting. See, Jaime Munguia could have fought David Benavidez. But this is what happens, though. This is the irony of a fighter that's calling out another fighter. Just because you call out another fighter doesn't mean there's not another fight for you. And that happens too much in boxing. Let me give you an example. It reminded me of years ago. I mean years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, back in 2019, where Errol Spence was calling out Keith Thurman. Matter of fact, this was before this. It was like 18. And Errol Spence was calling him out, come on, man, you need to give me the opportunity. Let's fight. Let's get it on. What you going to do? You going to duck again? You going to get another surgery? Stuff like that. But everyone was taking and throwing shots at Keith Thurman like they're doing Canelo. But understand, Errol Spence himself was getting called out by a young, newly campaigned WBO welterweight champion by the name of Terrence Crawford. He was equally calling out Errol Spence, like Errol Spence was aggressively equally calling out Keith Thurman. Okay, so how do you apply this to that comparison? Easy. Morel was wanting David Benavidez, and come to find out, Morel was one of the opponents that David Benavidez is supposed to fight. We know David is not going to leave PBC because he said he's not going to leave PBC, right? So since he's not going to leave PBC, where does that really leave him when it comes to Turki Al-Sheikh introducing or offering him a deal? Does he stay high and dormant and stupidly faithful to someone that really can't help him like he used to do with his other fighters because he may not have the clout, he may not have the resources or the ability financially to get David Benavidez the fights that he claims he wants? He might not have that. Okay? And I think he understands like, oh, well, hey, I have to make something happen quick. So I suggested he stays focused on Volsnik and see if he can take him out. Because Volsnik is not there to play no reindeer games. Okay? But yeah, Canelo, he's pretty much is in the same situation he was in 2016. People were dogging him. People were ripping him. People were blasting him, saying that, hey, he needs to grow some nuts. Oh, he's maybe Irish. The Irish say, no, we don't want him. He's nothing like us. So, I mean, he was pretty much getting disowned by his own people at that time. You know what I mean? Especially after Golovkin outworked him with the jab. You know what I mean? And outpointed him and all that, and they called it a draw. And he didn't want to take that fight to begin with. He was saying, I wasn't a middleweight, and if Golovkin wants to fight me, he needs to come see me at 155. And, we hear a lot of that. We've heard a lot of that. And he knows because he remembered, because he mentioned it, like, hey, you guys did me like that at the Golovkin situation. That's wonderful, Canelo, because that means if we're talking shit because we want you to fight, or we wanted you to fight Golovkin and you fought him, what you think we're going to keep doing? You think we're going to stop talking? No, we're going to keep talking because, hey, the same thing may get the same result, right? Counterpunch. So yeah, you can feel a certain kind of way about people saying why you're not fighting David Benavidez, but at the same time, if it worked for Golovkin, it should work for him too. And if you don't want to fight him and you're asking for all this crazy money, 150 to 200 million dollars to fight David Benavidez, it shows that David Benavidez sticks out amongst the others, i.e. Golovkin, Danny Jacobs, and all the rest of them. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of David Benavidez telling or advising Canelo Alvarez with the money that he's asking for. He should buy a thing of nuts. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!